As Valerie became there, it was evident. She just breezed right through general orientation. Couldn't wait to get on the floor. I had enough of this orientation. Let me go. Let me loose. And we did. Valerie took over the third floor for us, basically. We had some nurse changes go on at that time. And she was like a solid rock for us. Fit right into the company, assimilated right into the program. Has been a supervisor. Not that you're only an LPN, but you would have thought she was the RN supervisor. Anytime you walked on the floor, I mean, she knew the answer. You know, critically thought everything out. Knew where her residents were, what was going on with every single one of them. It was a no-brainer for her to be the first employee of the month for 2012 for Golden Living Center in Lansdale. But she's a little, you don't know how to read her. Take a look at her, guys. Okay, now stand up. Stand up. It's very important, guys. You need to know it. Stand up. Valerie is a very dangerous woman. Serious, good. You can sit down. I'll tell you a little bit about her personally. Valerie's a daughter named Shay. Lovely dog, Lula. Very small dog, though. But Valerie's a kickboxer. And she'll come in bruised up and bloodied up. Plate in her arm, you know, kind of thing. Really, she's a fighter. So I don't know about her kickboxing, what skills that brings to the nursing component of it, but she's very tough. So when you see her out there on the street, don't take that for granted.
You got our back, girl.
Okay?
And nobody's allowed to recruit her.
Yeah. Terry? Hands up. But again, Valerie, thank you again for all you do for Golden Living Center. Another 10, 15 more years with us, I'd only hope so. But again, Valerie Rice, our January Employee Month.
All right, Patty Jo.
Okay.
You're pumped up on your Mountain Dew.
We're excited today to have two representatives from Golden Living Reading Center. We have Sandy and we have Sherry. Both of them have been with the company a lot of years, a lot more than I have, and they actually both run the center. It's not me. Sandy is our payroll director, and she also is reception. So she's our first look when you come in the door, and you are awesome. You really do run the building. And without you, there's no way I could keep organized and keep everybody on track. So I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's been awesome. And Sherry,
Keep her pumped with sugar.
donuts, yeah. And Sherry is our restorative aide, and she actually, without you, we would not be where we're at, Sherry. So thank you so much for all that you do. Not only walk to dine, which I jump in and you direct me what to do and tell us all to do, but if you're not there, it doesn't run as smoothly. So you are an integral part of what the residents need in our center. So both of you, extreme customer service, and I love it, and I love you guys, and thank you for everything.
These three folks here, I mark my day by these people, actually. When I try to sneak in on night shift, there's one gentleman who's been here 8 years that always buys me first, and that's John. And John's been 8 full years?
9 years.
9 years.
Yeah.
He's been with us for 9 years. Okay, so the day's going on, things are moving along. I walk up onto the 3rd floor, and if I see you walking, and she's got a smile on her face, then I know it's going to be a good day. Now, there's been times she hasn't had a smile on her face, and I almost want to walk backwards. But Leah's been here almost 2.5 years. And then my other marker is whether I'm here on time or not. This road can get really tangled up, no matter if it's 45 minutes or it could be an hour. You never know how long it's going to take you to get to work. When I turn in and I see Janet sitting there smoking a cigarette, I know I'm on time. Because her break is finally over. I beat it before 8 o'clock. So, from the bottom of my heart, you know what we all think of you. You've done very well here. I can only hope you continue here because it makes my job so much easier. Thank you.
All right, Kelly or Roy, who's up next? Okay.
I have Josette and Cece here. Josette is a CNA on our 3 to 11 in our Baylor on the weekends. Josette has an ability that, I don't want to say difficult families, but sometimes we have more passionate families. Josette has a way of making them very comfortable. Whenever they don't want a CNA, they always want Josette. So she is able to kind of push that aside and take some of our more difficult, not residents, but families, and really make them feel comfortable. And she's always on the list of the favorite CNAs that the families want to have cared for their mother. So it's nice to have her in the building. And she does a phenomenal job. I was very excited when we put out the offer, and Josette just jumped at it and was very excited to come. So it's nice to have her represent our facility. We do have a lot of staff that have been there for a long time, so it's nice to see consistency and strong staff that some of our newer staff that we're bringing in, we can role model around some of them that do a tremendous job there. And Cece I brought along with me today because she has many hats in the building. She's medical records, central supply, and she also sometimes fills in for CNA. So she's been, I think, for what, 100 years working there? She's been through it all. She's seen a lot of the changes, and she's kind of my backbone for making sure things run smoothly in several of the departments in the facility. And she was nice enough to help me get Josette here today so she could participate in the breakfast. So there are two strong structures in the building, and I appreciate what you guys are doing. So thank you.
Go ahead, Roy, they're still eating over here.
Oh, okay, so, we have here Mike Mike is our, one of our maintenance guys, but you know, in Doylestown, it's not maintenance. You know that. What is it, Mike? Engineering. We are the only one, I think, in the company that has engineering.
We're a licensed engineer.
Exactly. So, when you come to our building, don't you ever pay maintenance, or don't ask to pay, because you're gonna get in trouble. So Mike has been with the engineering department for about 10 years. Tony's been in CNA 10 years. And you know, one of the things that Tony's working on the third floor most of the time, and you know, we get a lot of messages from families, and you know, I always, when somebody calls and say you have a family member on the line, and I always like, oh, okay. But quite a few times since I've been there, I get phone calls or a family member come to me and say, I want to talk to you about the third floor. And I say, okay. And it's always been only good things about Tony and her staff on the floor, which is always so good to hear that, you know, we do something right, because we usually get so beaten up by families and everybody else. But they actually come and say, I just want to let you know how wonderful. And the thing is that we don't, you know, it's funny, they always tell me Tony and her staff. It's always Tony and her staff. And, you know, Tony is one of the quietest CNAs or one of the quieter employees that we have in the building, but it's always Tony and her staff, which makes me feel great that, you know, they perceive Tony as a leader, even though I wouldn't put the two of you in competition, but I think Tony can give you a pretty good But, you know, Tony, again, is a quiet employee, but always great ideas, great suggestions. It's a pleasure to have both of them working with us in Doylestown, and again, I'll tell you, I've never been in one building for 10 years in my life, but so I hope that one day maybe I'll get to work in one place like you guys are doing. But overall, you know, we have quite a few employees that have been in the building for a long time, and they're doing a tremendous job. So hopefully for another 10 years, I guess, right?
We saved the best for last. And I have a representation here of January through May employees of the month for Stenton. And we at Stenton take team as a very serious thing, and this represents almost every department in the building. I have here, I'm going to start over here. Actually, this is really my posse. This is almost the same group that went with me to Harrisburg and spoke up. And those of you who were there saw how my team was very passionate and spoke and had no qualms about speaking to the representatives in Harrisburg. But I have here on my right, this is Sharon Hawkins. Sharon is a CNA on 11 to 7. She started out as a CNA on 3 to 11 on our second floor, where we have a lot of our you know, more challenging residents with behaviors. And she had two of the most difficult residents on the floor. I mean, residents that nobody could handle but Sharon. And Sharon takes it upon herself to tape movies, bring them in, and show them, and has her own activity thing going. And then we had an opening on 11 to 7, and Sharon posted, well, we went back and forth, but we had to let her go. And she went to 11 to 7, and her residents have been showing off ever since. And, you know, so we really appreciate everything that Sharon does. She's a very good CNA. She brings in snacks and everything for the residents. She's a very good support to the nurses on the second floor. Then I have Andreen Murdoch. And Andreen is an LPN on our weekend bailer shift, although she's there almost 7 days a week because she picks up days during the shift. We can call her at any time, saying we have 5 admissions, can you come in and help? And Andreen is right there. Andreen is also working on her RN, and so we hope to see her be one of our supervisors someday. And so we appreciate everything you do, Andreen, and always being there for us and coming in any time that we ask you to. Then I have Nafis. Nafis is in dietary. Nafis started off in the building as a dietary aide. He went on to be a cook, and then he stood as our dietary manager, mentored him, and then he went through the program to get his CDM. And then lo and behold, 2 weeks ago, my dietary manager comes to me and said, Karen, I'm resigning. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But it really wasn't a problem because Nafis was ready to step in. And he came right to me and he said, I want the job, okay? So now Nafis is our interim dietary manager fighting for that position, and he's not going to let me hire anybody. I probably might as well just say he's our dietary manager, okay? And then we have Clarence. Clarence is from housekeeping. He is part of healthcare services, but Clarence is part of the team. We didn't have a central supply person, and I was central supply. But Clarence, if I was walking with a box, he dropped his mop and he took over. He is right there for us all of the time. I had to drag him here. He did not want to come. He did not want to come. But there was no way, I was not going to let him come because he, in a short period of time, Clarence, I think, has only been with us for 6 months, but he has made such a difference in the building. And then we have the infamous Omar Kane. So for those of you who have not seen Omar on the website, this is Omar.
That's Omar.
Okay?
That face.
And Omar is one of the most passionate CNAs in the business. He really represents certified nursing assistants. His whole rep is about certified nursing assistants. He's not out there talking about the streets. He's not talking about anything else but the work that certified nursing assistants do. Omar is now our one and only restorative aide, but he is always on the floor helping everybody. I hope that everybody takes the opportunity to watch him on the Golden Living website so that you can see that not only does he represent Stenton, but he represents Golden Living. He travels all over the place, and he does his rap for certified nursing assistants, but he always has Golden Living at the top of his list. So, Golden Living Stenton.
And there's just 2 other folks I want to acknowledge today. First, Jack Province, our district HR. I've worked with a lot of different HR people, and some of them can be really odd. But Jack is by far the best HR guy I've ever worked with, Jack.
Yay, I heard it. Yay.
And then my right-hand person, Allison, stand up. She's our District 28 Executive Assistant, and I say she's District 28 because she's definitely not mine. She is the whole team's, and she supports the entire team in District 28. So she helped organize today's event. Now, shoot, we got to bring Lisa in. Okay, what we want to do is Lisa catered with you and your team, catered this event for us today, which she just did an outstanding. Take pictures. Let's take them back. She did an outstanding job, and so what we want wanna do is have her come in and then everybody stand up and give her a round of applause. Is that okay? Terry, can you go get her? Go get her? Okay.
Just tell her there were a couple complaints about the food.
Yeah, that's great, good idea.